It shouldn't be that controversial, you know. In the U.S., we already have over 2.2 million miles of pipeline. Canada has tens of thousands of miles of pipeline as well, and in both cases, the safety record is sound. They have demonstrated 5 nines reliability, a 99.9% safety record. That brings us, of course, to the major debate of the day on the Keystone XL pipeline. I've made my views abundantly clear on this topic. My view is that we are missing an enormous opportunity when we delay this development. Today, there are already some 29 gas and 17 oil cross-border pipelines in operation. That's right, there are almost 4 dozen pipelines carrying oil or natural gas across the U.S.-Canada border today, as we speak. The State Department's own environmental impact study concluded that they are safe and that Keystone would be safe. And let me quote directly from that same study, which was issued earlier this year. Quote, a total of 42,100 jobs throughout the United States would be supported by construction of the proposed project, close quote. You heard it from the State Department. The administration State Department says Keystone would create 42,000 direct and indirect jobs, some in construction, some in support functions. But I often wonder whether I'm missing something here. Because, you know, I'm not always the smartest guy in the room, by a long shot. But it seems to me we need more employment in the United States, and we're giving away an opportunity to create it. Keystone has now languished for much, much too long. I think it also sends a very, very unfortunate signal. First, it reduces the willingness of investors to make significant investments in large-scale, capital-intensive projects that are needed to help our energy reach its customers here in Canada by limiting the ability of increased production from the Canadian oil sands to get to market. It stunts production, it risks stunting growth as well. Secondly, and this is much more important to me than the first part, secondly, this is no way to treat a friend. This is not about sending your oil across our land. It's about maximizing the benefits of North America's natural resources for everybody, about allowing markets to function, and about contributing to the prosperity of citizens both in the United States and in Canada. When I mentioned before that you are our largest and most reliable supplier, doesn't that imply that your oil becomes our oil? And that we need to share these resources together in an appropriate way? Our leaders' comments on this topic should not be marked by parochialism, but by principles. And the principles should be enhancing the economic competitiveness of North America, treating allies and friends with respect and fair consideration, and creating jobs and growth and opportunity for everyone on both sides of the border. Proving Keystone would actually drive down the price of oil and help consumers in all North American countries, it should be done. It should be done already. It's supported by majorities in both the U.S. House of Representatives and the United States Senate. As I said earlier, a key goal in this relationship should be getting stuff done that's in our mutual interest. Well, it's time, well, over time, to get this done. More broadly, the lack of pipeline infrastructure means that much of both of our countries' increased production is being shipped by rail or by trucks. That affords flexibility, but it is not without risk and not without much higher costs. Keystone is perhaps the most visible pending energy project on our continent, but it is far from the only one, as you know. As a general matter, we need to reduce regulatory uncertainty and increase the speed and transparency of the American project approval process. All kinds of value-added facilities, like chemical plants, are being delayed because they require a significant long-term investment that is too often delayed by the permitting and regulatory process out of Washington, D.C. Over the long term, this lack of regulatory predictability hurts job creation in the United States. In the last few months, I've also outlined other steps that I believe can enhance our energy future. Opening the global market for United States crude and taking steps to develop and promote the capacity for LNG exports. adopting a reasonable approach to regulation that places an emphasis on cost effectiveness, fair competition among fuels, and avoiding picking winners and losers for purely political reasons. Investing in technology and energy research and development in everything from renewable fuels to advanced recovery techniques to clean coal to carbon sequestration. Adopting an approach that will lead to careful chemical handling, well integrity, and sound water treatment in the fracking industry. And recommitting to the process of North American economic cooperation to ensure a more smoothly functioning and cost-effective energy supply network across the borders on this continent. Unlocking our shared energy future and our shared energy potential. This is a demonstrated path to growth for both our countries. When I visited Mexico in September, I met with President Peña Nieto and I made 2 points. First, that North America, with our extensive trade and economic ties, can perhaps be a new model of cooperation for the world. Second was to say that too often Canada, and frankly Mexico as well, have been made to feel that they were an afterthought in U.S. economic and foreign policy. I said in Mexico then, and I repeat today to my friends and neighbors in Canada, you should not be an afterthought, you should be our first thought. Using technology to speed trade at the border, sensibly coordinating regulations, investing in infrastructure we need to harvest the benefits of the energy revolution. This is the blocking and tackling of expanded trade, increased competitiveness that will bring growth to our economies. They're simple priorities, but they can contribute to a more competitive economy and a better life for all of our citizens. But it takes real and sustained focus to solve these problems and to tap our potential with our closest neighbors and friends. It takes making our relationship with Canada a first thought and treating the relationship as the special one that it is. In the last few years, the leadership of the United States government has not always placed sufficient priority on North America. This is a mistake and a missed opportunity. I'm here to say that today, right now, we have a chance to create a new era of economic strength for the continent, but we have to believe in each other. We have to believe in trade, in economic cooperation, believe in shared values, believe in a shared effort on security, and in tapping the amazing energy resources with which we have been blessed, both here in Canada and in the United States. So thank you for having me here today. I appreciate it very much. I look forward to working with you to help create a brighter economic future for my state, for my country, and for yours as well, and to a brighter energy future for all of us. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it all very, very much.